Hello and welcome to day two. My dog is right at the end of my bed and she's going crazy. She hears another dog, so uh, don't mind my little baby girl. She's the love of my life. I don't have real human children, so I have dog children, but she is going crazy because of dogs. So anyway, um, if it looks like I haven't gotten out of bed or showered, that'd be because I haven't. And today has not been a very good day so far. It's 12:30 and I went to bed at 10 o'clock and I had planned on getting up like 9ish. I mean, I can sleep the day away completely. I'm not if I didn't have my insomnia medication. I take Ambien every day. But if I didn't, I would not sleep at all. But once I'm asleep, I can sleep for days, basically. And this morning I woke up and I was awake just enough to check my email, and Geico sent me something saying that a reminder that your insurance is going to be deducted, blah blah blah, and it's 300 and some dollars. And the last time I spoke to them, my insurance was supposed to have gone down, so now I'm really stressed out about money because I don't understand why it's going to be $338. I don't know what the deal is with that, so it's just something else that I have to do. I have to call them. I have to call stupid the electric company because my roommate is not wanting to pay what I told him is due because I'm capable of doing math and I multiplied the kilowatts used by what they normally multiply it by, and he wants to speak to the electric company and before he gives me any money. Um, so I have to deal with the electric company to talk to him. I have like this crazy list of stuff I have to do, and I have no energy to do anything. I'm literally still in my pajamas. I threw on a sweatshirt over top of my pajamas, and I went downstairs and I did take my antidepressant, which I'm taking Wellbutrin, and then I take my omega-3 fatty acids, which are supposed to be really good for borderlines, and I had a bagel. So I'm trying to do all those things that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to stick to a schedule, get up every morning, and I want to get up and meditate and then work out and then always have some sort of schedule and things to do. But right now, I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I have a shit ton of stuff that I have not done already. And so my list is getting longer and longer, and I'm not getting anywhere with it. And I'm just getting really overwhelmed with the whole no money thing. I just found out my account is in the negative. My dog is behind my computer, so she is moving it. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm really concerned about the money thing. It's stressing me out horribly, and I don't feel like doing anything. I feel like staying in bed all day. I made some flyers for personal training to try to make some kind of money, and dog sitting, and I have the flyers, but I haven't even had the energy to go put them out. So they're sitting on my kitchen table, and they're just sitting there. um, and if anybody watches this video that wants to be one of my clients, they'll probably think, what the hell, how is she going to be a trainer when all she can do is sit in bed? Which really sucks. Yeah, I mean, I need money, so obviously I'm going to do whatever I can to make money, but the thought of, I definitely know that I'm not a morning person, so I won't be able to train anyone super early, and unless I stay up all night, which I've been known to do as well. Um, I let's see, what was my main thing today? I figured out that I was going to talk about something. Um, I mean, obviously I'm talking about something, but I had something that I planned on discussing. I think relationships, which is crazy topic for borderlines. Um, I have had many relationships, as I discussed before and yesterday, actually. I dated a girl, so I dated females for about 7 years of my life, pretty much all females at that time, with like, I think maybe one or two exceptions, but I dated all women, and sexuality is something that borderlines, I guess, struggle with, as they say, but I don't think I struggle with my sexuality, and by any means, I don't think that that is something that I have to struggle with. I don't think that that has been an issue as far, other than it causing problems because of my family, just adding more stress because family didn't accept me. Some family didn't accept me for dating girls. So sexuality has not been a struggle for me. Um, but in general, relationships, they have been a struggle. So that, and by far, has been a huge issue for me. Um, I I've had relationships, and I think my relationships were fairly normal when I was younger. When I was in my teens and 20s, I think they were somewhat normal. I remember always seeming as if I felt like I cared so much more, and I was so much more passionate than others, um and I know that I have a huge heart, and I've felt like I've given everything in my relationships, and that's always what causes me to, um I guess, start the whole borderline thing. Was when I started loving so much that, I'm afraid that I'm not gonna get anything in return, or they're gonna leave, and so I've given so much energy, and then I'm afraid. But again, I don't think I do this on a conscious level at all. I say again because I said, I think yesterday I said something about I abandon people, and I don't do it on a conscious level. Um, but I will get scared and realize that I'm putting so much energy into this relationship, and then I get scared and I self sabotage. And that's when, basically I do something that will cause the person to eventually give up and say, okay, I don't want this in my life anymore. And hell, I wouldn't want to fucking date a borderline. Excuse my language if you are offended. I should probably put somewhere on my videos that I do say the F word every now and again. um, anyway, so yeah, my relationships don't have a very good track record. I tried and I've given it my all 100%, and I hope that I will definitely be able to have a relationship. Um, my therapist is working on that with me right now because he knows that it's so huge and so important to me, and relationships have been a huge part of a lot of my problems because since I'm so uh, caught up in my relationships are pretty much my life, um, when they are chaotic, excuse me. Um, for instance, a guy that I dated last year, he was someone that there was a lot of passion for, and he and I were definitely a couple, and I think there was love there, but it was very unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. Um, he was addicted to, I don't know what, pretty much everything, and he stole from me. He stole from the person I told you yesterday who helped me while I was in the hospital. He had put money in my account, and then my ex-boyfriend and we were actually exes when I was in the hospital, and people in the hospital were trying to keep him away from me, but it was still that whole, I need love, so obviously it was hard for me to push him away completely, but he was stealing from my account while I was in the hospital. No, I don't think while I was in the hospital, but when I was not living in my home. I wasn't living in my home. It's a long, crazy story, which that's my life. But there were roommates in my home, and I was not comfortable coming back home after I was in the hospital because they were stressing me out, and they basically thought that I was crazy. And they didn't want my ex-boyfriend to be here, so they refused to pay rent and just a bunch of stuff. But anyway, so my last relationship, well, not my last relationship, I recently broke up with someone else. Um, and and that's just another story that it sucks because I know he's gonna watch this as well. And but the one I stopped discussing last year's relationship because it affected my life so greatly, and I don't mean a positive greatly. It was a negative greatly. He messed me over big time, stole over $8,000 worth of money. Like I said, he was taking money directly out of my account. I wasn't able to prove it. Um, he definitely messed with my head, and he knew that I'm borderline, so he tried to. Uh, he definitely played. He not try. He used that, and he was able to manipulate me greatly, and I think that's the reason why we stayed together as long as we did, because I think he's a sociopath and a mastermind effer. Um, and so I stayed with him a very long time. Well, it was almost a year, but that's a long time for me. Um, a lot longer than it should have been, that's for sure. And uh, what was my point? um, it was relationships in general, but I had problems with him, and he was someone that I tried breaking up with, but at the same time, I needed and I wanted that love, so it was really hard for me to push him away completely, even though everyone, including myself, knew he was bad for me. I I needed that closeness, and there was some level that he was, able to reach and make me feel loved, but it was so unhealthy because feeling that love had a huge price to pay. It was, you know, whether or not it was going to be my medications that were stolen. I take because I take Ambien and I take Klonopin, and I also take Adderall for my ADD, and medications were constantly gone. And if it wasn't medications, it was money, tools out of my garage, you name it, stuff was just constantly being missing. So if I needed love, uh, I would, definitely pay for it if I had him over. And it was messing with my head because I didn't think that he would truly do it, and he's such a mastermind effort that he was just like, I wouldn't do that, and someone I would never steal from you, and blah blah blah. But yeah, I caught him so many times, and I was just so confused and so unhealthy, and I think that's a huge part of why I got fired, which is another thing that I wanted to discuss today too, is because yesterday I said I have no one to blame but myself, but I do think the way that they handled my termination was very unfair. Um, I mean, it's a mental health clinic for one thing, and yeah, I would have fired me as well. But I mean, I took a lot of time off, and I was tardy all the time. I have problems with being on time. Um, but the way that they handled it was just absolutely insane, and I was constantly being written up after I got back from my last hospital stay. I they were writing me up for the stupidest stuff, like my now roommate, which I had to give him a 30-day notice, and he's leaving on, well, March 8th. But he left the gate open, and my dogs, which I told you I don't have real children, but I have dog children. He let them out, and I was supposed to go back to work by 5 o'clock to turn in my paperwork. I was a visiting nurse, and I went to people's homes, and so every day at the end of the day, you're supposed to turn in your paperwork. But my dogs were running around in the neighborhood, and so it was a no-brainer. I'm not gonna think about not going and trying to find my dogs. I ran home and I ran around the neighborhood looking for my dogs. I mean, I was a mess. And when my boss called, I was honest with her and told her that I'm really sorry, but my dogs are loose and I'm trying to find them. And she was very rude and was basically like, this is during working hours and we'll deal with it on Monday because it was a Friday that this happened. And so I was a mess, obviously. My dogs are running around, and I was having just these visions of my dogs being hit because I had a dog that was run over right in front of my house on my birthday, which was not a good thought or a good memory. And so I'm paranoid, that my babies are going to get hit. And so I was running around my neighborhood looking for them. And I had that plus the thought of, oh God, I'm going to be fired or what the hell's going to happen. But I got suspended for a week without pay from that incident. And it's just, like things like that, which, since I do have disabilities and I have insomnia and whatnot, I think they should have been a lot more accommodating. They should have been a lot more accommodating. I've even brought that up with my boss before, asking her, if I can either work. Uh, okay, my calendar popped up, but I asked my boss if I could do something uh, like come in later and work longer days or something, and they just said no. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that even though I know that I caused a lot of things that caused me to be fired and I have to take responsibility for it, I still think that North Central, I don't know if I should say their name, but anyway, they fired me. I don't think it was the right way to handle it. They should have handled it in a different manner. Um, they should have known that I was having problems and tried to have help me out in some way. Maybe that's just my big heart talking, but I think that the way that they handled it was just absolutely ridiculous, and um, now I can't even get unemployment because of the way that they terminated me, and the termination letter was just ridiculous. They covered every single thing. They basically listed everything on there that prevents someone from getting unemployment. So they basically screwed me big time. So um, even though I said that I have no one else to blame, I do resent them for a lot of things because they screwed me over. And I know it's because they were trying to fire me after my last FMLA. And if that's the case, then why didn't they just fire me? Because you're allowed to fire in Ohio, you're allowed to fire people for basically no reason. So I don't know why they didn't just fire me instead of making my life hell and now causing me to not get unemployment. Um, and I'm trying to get disability, so unemployment really isn't something that I should be able to get anyway, but I shouldn't be completely banned from any government assistance because of my supposed poor job performance. That, I mean, I'm not going to get so far into it, but anyway, um, yeah, I wanted to touch on that a little bit because it was bothering me when I woke up this morning thinking about how I talked about my employment and how it was no one's fault but my own, which I believe, but I don't believe at the same time. But relationships, back to that. Um, so yeah, I had problems with them, obviously, and I last my last longest relationship, which is the one that I was talking about, which caused me so many problems, and I ended up in the hospital. But then I had another one after that, and he definitely tried very, very hard to please me and make sure that he understood borderline and all of that, but I just wasn't able to because he's diabetic and I was constantly concerned with his physical health, and it was making me basically worn out because I was so worried about his physical health and he was worried about my mental health. And so that and my stress of my job, because I wasn't fired when we started dating, so I was constantly worried about my job, and so I pushed him away, and um, I pushed him away, and I don't, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how. I've never had a healthy relationship. I don't think so. I don't know how the right way to push people away is, or how to break up with them, or whatever. So then I end up having a lot of guilt for hurting people, and that's something that I need to deal with. But can't believe it's already 20 minutes. I can certainly talk a lot more than I thought I could on video. Um, but I just need to figure out what I'm gonna do. I'm just really, really, really fucking stressed today, and I need to get up enough energy to get out of bed, and I need to find a way to make some money, and that's my biggest thing, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So I'm just, I need to figure out what to do, and I just wish the government would help me at least get, oh, that's something else I was going to discuss. The government would help me get health insurance. Since I have my health insurance has lapsed 60 days, I'm terrified of what is going to happen when I do get insurance, or if I get insurance, if they're going to cover anything with my depression or my borderline or whatnot, because it's been over 60 days and it's considered a pre-existing condition. So I don't know if they're going to basically deny me insurance or what's going to happen. I don't know anything about that. So yeah, I after my video last night, a lot of bad things happened, and so my warm fuzzy, if you know anything about warm fuzzies, my warm fuzzy just pretty much disappeared, and that's why I wanted to go to bed, and so I took my meds early, and I woke up hoping that today I would wake up feeling much better and revived, and unfortunately I do not. I just want to stay in bed and pretend this has been a big nightmare, and I still have a job and I still have income, but unfortunately, I don't. And I don't, I'm tired of having to depend on people and ask them for money. And I just wish that things were different and I could have my independence back and not have to completely rely on everyone or on anyone for just going to the gas station, or getting gas or getting my hair done. Like I said, I mean, I don't even go to places that I used to go to. I mean, I go to the cheap places like Fiesta and Saturdays, and but still it's more money than I should be spending, and I'm crying. um so I don't know, I'm just obviously really depressed today, but um I am going to continue doing this because my sister, thank you very much. She watched my video yesterday and she said that she thinks it's a good idea, and she is encouraging me, and she even though we have any relationship in my life is hard to keep, and I've struggled because I felt like she was too busy to have me in her life because she has the perfect family, she's married, has a child, has a house, and even though she struggles with money just like everyone, but she has the perfect family in my eyes, and I felt like I've just been a major burden on her, and so I felt like that she doesn't have time to talk to me or spend time with me, so I've tried not talking to her, and it doesn't work because I love her to death, and thankfully she encouraged me to continue doing this because she said even though our lives are completely opposite, as in like I sleep all day and she gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, which is insane. That's basically the time that I'm going to bed. But she encouraged me, saying that at least she knows what's going on and she'll be able to respond. And she, I don't know, basically she was a big help, and I know that she cares. So I love you, sis. Thank you for sending me that email. That was the one positive thing that I received this morning. I love you. And I guess that's it for day 2. It's 25 minutes. That's long. I don't even know if YouTube's gonna allow me to upload it.